Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Going to be commentating a 2v2 for you today. Now, this is quite exciting. I'm looking forward to this. Today's Thursday, the day of this recording at least. I don't know when you're going to watch it. I should probably stop saying that. I said that I think I said that on Wednesday too. But anyways, yes, Thursdays we're going to be looking at team games. Now, earlier in the day I did upload a team game of me and Tempest, just kind of a live commentary thing. And now I'm going to do an actual straight up commentary of this game right here. Now, this is going to be quite exciting. Definitely looking forward to this. We can see right here, Protoss player on team number 1 is going to be FxOptikZero, and his Terran ally here is Select. And the opposing team, double Terran, we do have GG's LastShadow and sixjaxMajOr. So TNT versus TNP. And yes, 2v2 matchups, quite interesting. I love doing 2v2 with my friend Tempest. It's a lot of fun. Something else you should know, LastShadow used to be known as AJTLS in Brood War. Quite infamous for various reasons. No reason to really dive into those, but you know, he's a really nice guy, and he actually won the last tournament for the New England StarCraft 2 League that I did the live commentary at. I do live commentary, of course, for the New England StarCraft 2 League. The first season, he did win that, and it was definitely quite an awesome series of games from him. Definitely pretty impressive. I like him, and he, just in general, is a nice person, I would have to say. So, gonna be looking forward to see how this matchup plays out. Again, this is gonna be a 2v2. I don't do a lot of team games. It's not the most popular of things for various reasons. One of the big things to realize about team games is just the dynamic is so far off from what you're typically gonna see in a 1v1. Basically, the rules in 1v1 don't necessarily apply. And professional players who play 1v1 professionally aren't necessarily going to be the best 2v2. In fact, I remember seeing an interview. I think it was, oh my god, I think it was in one of the State of the Games, and it was, I believe Idra was on there, and they were talking about how just because you're a solid 1v1 player doesn't mean that you're going to be doing good in a 2v2 scenario. And I know there are various tournaments out there that host 2v2 in the lineup, so it definitely makes for very interesting things when you have teams versus teams. It just makes, again, for an interesting dynamic. Now, one of the biggest things to realize too is a giant focus of 2v2s is going to be, or any team games, is making sure that you attack as one big cohesive group. If you don't do that, you can really get screwed. But let's go ahead and just move straight into the commentary. We can see, looks like LastShadow is going to be doing a fairly standard build. He got his gas early enough, so he's going to be able to get that factory right away. You can see in terms of his resources, should be dropping that factory, and there it is. So going for a very fast factory. I think he may have actually gone 12 refinery and 13 racks. And you can see OptikZero scouting that out, letting his ally Select know that exactly what's going on. Select saying, oh, we're going to win Banshee and Phoenix. So wow, Banshee and Phoenix is what we're going to be seeing from Select and OptikZero. Going to be very interested to see how that's going to play out. I definitely see that as potentially being very strong, but it's going to be quite interesting. Looks like sixjaxMajOr is going to be going for a 1-1-1 himself. There is that starport, still just on the one gas, maybe a Hellion drop, that's quite possible, or just an early push with Marines and Hellions. Now, in terms of what LastShadow is doing, he is getting up his second refinery right now. Let's take a look back over here for Select. Select, again, it looks like they had mentioned they're going to be going Banshee and Phoenix, so that's evidently what's going to happen. Where's the Stargate? There it is. There's the Stargate. Another gateway there as well, just in case he needs to get some ground forces to defend himself. We can see OptikZero moving across the map, also having that Zelnaga tower. Early game, that Stalker is going to be very strong up until, of course, there are some Marauders in play, but none of those, just a Hellion and a couple Marines. So that actually Stalker could potentially do quite a bit of damage, but as you can see here, he has retreated back to his main base. Select starting out with just some Marines and Hellions for early game defense. Looks like Banshees are coming out right now. sixjaxMajOr starting on that right now, and is still just on the one gas, and not going to be in that cloak Banshee, at least not initially. There's really no way he can afford that without that second gas. Couple Hellions moving across the map, trying to do a bit of damage. We do have a Hellion from Select at that Zelnaga. Still, this Zelnaga grabbed by OptikZero. Where did those Hellions go? There we go. Going to be a Hellion on Hellion action right here. This Hellion might want to micro back just to be careful. There we go. The Hellion with the larger health pool was ending up pulling on forward, and it looks like he's going to go grab this other tower and take it from this probe here. This probe, of course, stands not a chance, and the Hellion might as well just chase him down. Might as well get that free kill. There you go, sixjaxMajOr. Now, we do already have Phoenixes on the board right now for OptikZero, and look at just how abusive this is going to be. Those Hellions not going to stand much of a chance. We do have a fairly large Marine count. Looks like LastShadow going to be going Marine tank. Also got a medevac thrown in there as well. Let's see how these Phoenixes fare in the fight here. Going to want to pull back away from those Marines. any marine heavy cluster, definitely something you don't want to engage. So just needs to be very careful about that. Wants to pull back. He hasn't lost anything but shield, so really no big deal there for FxOptikZero. Select starting out with those Banshees. There is that cloak right now. Also getting out some with those extra resources, getting out some marines. SixjaxMajOr moving on in with that Banshee, but without cloak, not going to be able to do a lot of damage. Some good micro here coming from Select. Might be losing a couple workers, but still does want to make sure that he doesn't lose that Banshee. He needs to be very careful. Here come the Phoenixes, going to mop up that Banshee, and without that cloak, of course, not a chance for him. Back over here in sixjaxMajOr's base, you can see right there, Select did just ping. Looks like he's saying, go harass him now. We do have some Vikings into play, but still, I think there's enough Phoenixes to obviously deal with that. And the Banshee, Phoenix is going to be protecting the Banshee. The Banshee is going to go to town on the ground units. If the ground units get too basically heavy, I fully expect those Phoenixes to pick it on up. So here we go, Viking going to get sniped down, picking up some of those Marines, and the Banshee is going to start working on the Marines as well. For some very nice synergy between these two, Phoenix and Banshee, definitely looking to be quite effective. Now, we do have a heavy ground force there of Marines pulling on in. Let's see how this is going to work. Banshee going to start doing quite a bit of damage. Phoenix is sniping down the medevacs there. Does need to be careful though. That is quite a large amount of Marines, so it's time to peace out. The good thing is, cloak Banshee's getting scanned. Going to pull back though. Just wants to make sure he gets out of that scan range. Phoenix is target firing down the Raven. That is a very expensive loss there for SixjaxMajOr. Definitely not the best of things. Looks like we're seeing a ping from Select. Select telling at this point his ally FxOptikZero now time to head on over to the other base. And given the fact that these Phoenixes are so incredibly mobile, they're so very fast, these ground forces are not nearly so in comparison. These Phoenixes are definitely going to be quite a pain in the butt for our double Terran team over here. So we can see moving on in. Does need to stay away from the missile turret, though. That's, of course, the last thing that you want to engage. Back over here, what's going on? Still continuing up that Banshee production. We do have a command center coming on in for that Expo. Turret didn't quite get up now. Marine's going to be shooing back those Phoenixes there. Quite a bit of action, I must say. 2v2, pretty nuts, especially when you are a one-man commentary show. What can you do about that, guys? I just got to keep my eyes on the minimap. Pretend I'm playing the game pretty much. Keep the eyes on the minimap. And then we're going to see the Marine push right now from Select, just throwing away some of those Marines at the same time, hitting in the main base with those Cloak Banshees. Lots of Phoenixes in play right now for FxOptikZero. We can see both FxOptikZero and Select right now looking to get up their expansions. They obviously have map control at this point, and Marine on Marine, but we got the Phoenixes in play as well as those Banshees, and this is not looking good. The Vikings going to want to get target fired down by FxOptikZero's Phoenixes. Now we need those Marines to pull on in and try to shoo away these units. This is a very tough scenario right now, closing in on those Marines, taking those out very quickly. Phoenixes of FxOptikZero going to be heading across the map right now. Pick up that Soul Marine over there and just keep on working. LastShadow doing what he can to protect his ally SixjaxMajOr. This Banshee harassment's definitely been quite effective, especially with the support of those Phoenixes. I haven't seen. I play a high Masters 2v2, and I really haven't seen a lot of this in particular. I guess I really haven't done 2v2s a lot recently, though, so maybe this is kind of something that's kind of formulated with the metagame, but clearly turns to be quite effective if your opponents are teching up. But here comes a push right now from LastShadow, moving across the map. A few Marines, no stim pack for them or anything. He does have those siege tanks. Doesn't look like he has siege mode for that either, so no upgrade, just going to be moving out with these regular Marine tanks. We also have these medevacs here, of course, so let's see how this one plays out. A couple SCVs working as buffers over there. We do have that big cloud of Phoenixes, also some Zealots over there as well. GG LastShadow calling nice reflexes. There you have it. Gonna be pulling on in. Is that a missile turret? Yes, it is. LastShadow gonna be dropping a missile turret, trying to defend against these Phoenixes. Needs to be very careful. Phoenixes target firing down those medevacs very quickly. Marines and siege tank moving on in, doing a ton of damage to these ground forces here. LastShadow having a hard time, but it looks like his forces are prevailing, at least for the moment. Those Marines being a little too threatening, but there are a lot of Phoenixes right now, and I'm not sure even that amount of Marines could hold it off. Very nice LastShadow getting up that missile turret. That's gonna help quite a bit, but lifting off those tanks, and then the Zealots charging on in to take out those Marines. Very, very nice play there. Again, using the Phoenixes to lift off those heavy tanks, and then the Zealots, of course, are going to be able to quite easily mop up those Marines. I'm definitely enjoying that play. Still win with bad reflexes, says Select. Wow. So actually, LastShadow was bad mannering Select over there, evidently, and yeah, because of a stupid unit. All right, so people aren't really happy, but anyways, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the trash talk there. When I met AJTLS, he was a nice guy, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And, oh, man, look at that, look at that. Anyways, right now, Phoenix is moving across the map and going to be moving right into here. Gonna start picking up these tanks right now. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this trash talk over here. Anyway, it's just gonna be moving across the map right now. Phoenix is again mopping up these units. You can see again how effective these Phoenixes are when in the hands of a solid player who knows how to use those graviton beams, stay away from those dangers, and yeah, gonna do quite well. We can see the Marines right now of sixjaxMajOr doing what they can to mop up these units. We do also have some stalkers out here, stalkers and zealots mopping up all of those Marines, and see you later. See you later, my friends. So right now, we do have Select and FxOptikZero with these bases up, and unfortunately right now, for sixjaxMajOr and for LastShadow, they really aren't in any position to expand now. We do have sixjaxMajOr trying to come up with the Expo, but LastShadow leaving the game, and yeah, wow, he is not too thrilled about that. In this game, we saw both LastShadow and his ally go for some fast gas for some really techy builds. They were both actually going for a quick 1-1-1. Upon scouting the fast tech, FxOptikZero opted to go for some Phoenix play, while his ally Select decided to get some Banshees. Using Phoenixes and Cloak Banshees, they were able to do some pretty effective harassment. Select and FxOptikZero decided to start out on sixjaxMajOr, and you're going to see the synergy between these two units, the Phoenix and the Banshee. The Banshee taking care of heavy ground threats, and then the Phoenix lifting off anything that's dangerous to the Banshee itself. And this type of harassment has just been shown, it's been proved in this game to be incredibly effective against a double Terran opponent. Whenever LastShadow left his base to help his ally, all FxOptikZero had to do was turn his Phoenixes around using the speed and mobility and go right into LastShadow's base to continue up their harassment. This constant back and forth made it very difficult for either LastShadow or his ally to actually push out of their base. And this constant harassment from these Phoenixes as well as those Banshees pretty much gave Select and FxOptikZero total map control. With the map control granted from that Phoenix Banshee harassment, Select and FxOptikZero were able to get up expos much quicker than their opponents, and this gave them that extra economic boost that really helped pull them in the lead. Fed up with the constant back and forth, LastShadow decided to move out for a counterattack to try to do some damage. After a bunch of trash talking between both teams, we ended up seeing LastShadow actually leave, but in all honesty, the game was already over before LastShadow decided just to up and leave. The map control and the extra economy that was given between that Phoenix and Banshee play pretty much put LastShadow and his ally way too far behind. So there you have it, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.